Right. Thought we could have a chat today about the Nazi policies towards women. Now, this is one of the key areas of the course. Comes up very often. Now, it's quite straightforward, really. The thing to remember is about the Nazi Party. It's a very male-dominated party. Hitler, Goering, Goebbels, Himmler. There are no real women in the higher levels of the Nazi Party. And they have a very, very, very traditional view of the role of women in society. Wife and mother. This is summed up very simply by a quote in a German newspaper at the time of Hitler about a German movie star called Marlene Dietrich, who was a big movie star at the time, and she'd appeared in public, shock horror, in trousers. A Nazi newspaper headline read, "No German woman wears trousers." And it kind of sums up this idea about women should be at home, they should be wives, they should be mothers, and they should have traditional values. This is all because of the 1920s, the Golden 20s, a time of massive freedom in Germany, and particularly for women. Hitler didn't particularly appreciate that or like it, and wanted to return to the traditional way of doing things. Now, there are three reasons why Hitler had these views of women in many ways. The first one is he wants to make Germany great. That's one of his overriding principles. Now, in order to do that, he needed to increase the population, because a big population means strong, means strength. Now, the population in 1900 in Germany was 2 million live births in the year, so 2 million babies a year. In 1933, that had dropped by 50% to only 1 million babies. The population wasn't growing, therefore Germany wasn't as strong as it could have been. The second reason is unemployment. Now, if women return to their traditional roles, it frees up jobs for men. Therefore, you can reduce unemployment. Super easy. And the third thing is this return to traditional values because of the Roaring Twenties, the Golden Twenties, which Hitler and many of the Nazis saw as bad. So, that's what the Nazis wanted, and there are basically 7 ways the Nazis did it. They're quite easy to remember. 7 ways. 1. He introduced the laws for the encouragement of marriage. Now, this gave a loan of 1,000 marks to any married couple if the woman gave up work. Now, there was 1,000 marks, but on the birth of their first child, they got 250 marks off the loan. The second child, 500 marks off. Third child, 750, and the fourth child, the whole loan was forgotten about. Okay? This is to encourage increased birth rates. The second thing was tied to that in that Hitler, on his mother's birthday, which was the 12th of August every year, introduced medals, or gave medals to women that had a certain number of babies. For example, to get the gold medal, the Mother's Cross, you had to have 8 babies. And once you'd had your 8 babies, you'd done your duty for Germany, and you were given privileged seats at Nazi meetings and rallies and that sort of thing. But there was also a silver and a bronze cross for less children. Now, the third thing is the League of German Maidens. Now, you know this from Nazi youth movements. The purpose of the League of German Maidens was to reinforce Nazi views on girls, motherhood. It stressed physical health in order to create healthy mothers that can give strong children. It stressed housekeeping skills and motherhood. Now, at school, the girls were also getting the same message, weren't they? They only got taught maths to the level they needed for housekeeping. They got taught needlework and cookery, and 15% of their curriculum time was PE in order to make them healthy and strong, so they could have more babies. The fourth thing is the German women's enterprise. This is quite a nice one, and if you can throw this into your answer, it does show really good knowledge, and so the examiner's going to like that, maybe give you a few extra marks. This is a national organisation, the German Women's Enterprise. They organise classes and lectures and talks on motherhood, on household topics, in order to encourage women to perform this traditional role. Now, the fifth thing is the Lebensborn programme, which is kind of scary and a little bit ugh. Now, this is where unmarried women, who were perfectly Aryan, pure Aryans, could donate a baby to the Führer. Now, they could choose to become pregnant by a racially pure SS man, and that baby then became a German. They'd done their part, they'd created the perfect Aryan child. Quite scary. The sixth thing is that divorce laws became a lot easier in 1938. You were allowed to divorce someone on the grounds of the fact that you couldn't have children together. whether it was you could divorce a woman if she was barren, or the male if he was infertile, all aimed to increase population. And the key thing to remember as well is the Nazi policies are summed up in 3 words. Now, my German is atrocious. They mean children, kitchen, church. Kinder, Küche, Kirche. All right. Now, children, kitchen, church. This is to encourage women to give up their jobs and have babies, to increase population and to increase the number of jobs available to men. Now then, female doctors, civil servants, teachers were made to give up their jobs when the Nazis came to power to free up jobs for the men. And the result of all these policies is that by the birth rate had risen from 15 in 1,000 to 20 in 1,000 between 1933 and 1939. So Hitler achieved his aim. And, as you know from later on, he does reduce the unemployment rate through these measures. However, important to bear in mind the fact that in 1938 Hitler had to reverse his policies because there wasn't enough workers, because the men had joined the army and the armaments industry was kicking in, and he stopped the marriage loans and he introduced a duty year where women had to give a year, or young women gave a year of their lives to perform jobs designated by the state, so farming, that sort of thing. However, by 1939 this still hadn't worked, and there were less women working in Nazi Germany than there had been in the Weimar Republic. So, essentially, it's quite straightforward. It's very typical of Nazi policies. There's an about turn towards the end of it when they realise it's not actually going to help Germany very much. Alright, I hope that's been of some help. Don't forget to tie the policies towards women to do with education and employment. Alright, it's very important.